Yeah, cool. I mean, there's a million, so which one do I pick?
Yeah, I know.
But I just can't think of one off the top of my head right now, but there's a million.
It'll come to you.
And I'm writing a note for next week because I'm going to tell how much it hurt to not be invited to the fall event.
That's why I'm a stick right
But I
now.
won't
Oh,
do it
he's
on this
definitely
show
going to
because I
that.
don't want to embarrass you.
Oh, I don't care.
I
Yeah,
think you can get like 5 or 6 shows worth of run out of that.
I think so. Okay. Welcome to an all-new episode of Work in Progress with John Lane and Will Barfield. This podcast explores leadership traits under stress with a special guest each week. We use a simple and accurate OAD assessment to identify key personality traits or superpowers, as well as the shadow side, kryptonite traits that appear when we're under stress. As always, we'll have some pod banter, shameless plugging, and we'll even let our guests talk for a bit. Of course, no humble brags. Welcome to the show.
I think
In
it looks
three,
Thank you.
in two, in one. Welcome everybody to A Work in Progress with John Lane and Will Barfield.
Yes.
We always have a special guest. It needs to be noted that Will is wearing lavender.
Yes.
I suspect that's because all the Carolina blue stuff is in the wash. True?
Yeah, it's being laundered. No. I wanted to blend in a lovely way with our purple backdrop today. I want to,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
and nothing screams fall colors like lavender.
Then purple.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Given that this show will actually be on in the winter, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fall day to day, and I was thinking leaves and autumn and purple because those things are.
I love
Or
it.
maybe I'm thinking regal, like
Yeah.
that'd be a deeper purple.
All right. Well, what do we got?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I always have a little banter. My first note says pod, so I can't read my own writing. So I'm gonna have to skip that banter because I can't read it. And maybe it'll come back to me.
Pod.
Yeah. Second is we are going to start inviting people to record. Oh, it's our first pod-iversary. Happy pod-iversary. Yeah. Our first one was November 4th, 2022. Or, yeah, 222.
So,
Did you get me anything?
yes. So on.
Lavender shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
nice.
in the mail.
Yeah. All right. I got to remember that. And then 2024 is coming out, and we're going to do something interesting. And Will, this is all your idea, so I'm glad
Oh, it
you
is?
brought it up.
Great.
So many, our audience is so much bigger now than it was a year ago. I think we can all agree on that.
It's a lot bigger than zero.
But many people haven't seen the early days, and we had me on, we had you, we had my brother, we had Greg Eng, we had Larry Long, we had Sarah Glover, we had Clark Reinhardt, for goodness sake. So we are going to start running them again in January.
The old ones.
So we're going to alternate. Every month is going to be 2 new, and every month is going to be 2 classic versions.
Oh, that marketing mind of yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
It.
Always going. Plus, I'm kind of sick of spending every weekend editing podcasts. So
I can't imagine that's a driving factor here.
No. Then I'll also just say that I am deep into a startup workshop with the client, and that's kind of exciting to get that culture of communication workshop engaged. So I'm looking forward to those meetings that will take place next week.
Well, you've been promoting that brilliantly online, and I'm
you.
glad someone has snagged it. Can't wait for that to blossom.
Yeah. Mags, we'll get to you in a few minutes. Don't worry.
No worries. Take your time.
We're getting there. All right.
I'm just kidding. I'm enjoying it.
Mags?
Yeah. Hey, Will, am I recording this on Zoom?
I hope so.
Let me see. Probably not.
I've always known you as Maggie. We haven't been casual enough for me to call you Mags.
Now we're on that level.
I'm gonna stay
on
that Maggie.
On that level, go ahead and Facebook friend me, and then we're really on that level.
Yeah. I have not. This is not my best engineering day. So anyway, moving on. So as always, I'm John Lane.
I am Will Barfield,
and we are a work in progress. That has never happened more so than today. I'm missing my marks all day. I'm not recording.
Is it recording? I hope.
It's recording, yeah, but it's late. We missed, well, blah, blah, blah. We have a special guest.
Yes, we
Maggie
do. A very special
Kane.
guest.
Hi, Maggie.
Ooh, hello, and I gotta do the intro like you all do, and I'm Maggie Kane,
That's right. Mags.
Are you a work in progress?
and I'm a work in progress. Yeah, I couldn't remember the last part of it. I'm definitely a work in progress.
You told us you had memory problems, but not remembering what you said the sentence prior.
Gosh, I know.
That
Work
is
in
tremendous.
progress. Work in progress. I'm on the right podcast.
Well, for the very few people who listen to us who don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah. I think there's more than just a tiny few. But I'm Maggie Kane. I'm the executive director of A Place at the Table. We are a pay what you can nonprofit restaurant. What that means, super confusing. I know everyone always kind of like puts their eye up at it and doesn't understand it. What that means though is we act and look like a normal restaurant. You'd have no idea we were any different until you got inside and started to see some different suggested pricing. And so all of our menu items are suggested. So people can pay that. People can pay more and pay it forward. People can pay less. People can volunteer for their meal. People can also use a place card that gets handed out in this community. It's a free meal for someone in this community. So think gift card or some sort of meal certificate so people can get that meal. We also feed families for free. So if you're a family and in need of a meal, no questions asked, you get to eat with us. Food is really good. The team is even better. The team of staff, volunteers, so many amazing things happen, but very lucky to be a part of it every day. We've been open 6 years. But before that, Raleigh native, born and raised here, moved around some, but really love this community.
Well,
Quick
it's great to
question.
have you. Big fan of, how do you use it? What's your shorthand? Table?
Table, exactly.
Okay,
Except it was at first APAT, APATT. So you'll see that too. And we've tried so hard to get it to be table, and it's just like you can't. Someone told me long ago, I think it may have been Danny Rosen or something, that you can't change what people are gonna call you.
It's like a nickname. You can try to
Yeah.
make something stick, but
Right.
what's going to stick is what's going to stick. Well,
That's right.
welcome. I think you and I met almost when I first got here, and you've been very helpful for me as I've gone through some local learnings, and so I always appreciated that. But today, we're here to talk about superpowers and kryptonite, and Will is going to talk about where do we get those leadership traits and how are they and how they act under stress.
We find them under the bed, right?
Was that, brother?
We find them under the bed.
Yes.
Yeah. Like where my parents used to hide the Christmas presents.
I'm not touching that.
So, no, we actually use OAD,
Yeah.
organization analysis and design,
Nice.
to help unlock and define your unique superpowers. It's a highly accurate and easy to administer tool. I'm sure, Maggie, from what you recall, it was quick, simple.
Oh yeah.
It eliminates social desirability distortion, so there's no greater than, less than, A, B, C, D, true, false. And it's built to the standards of leading international psychological institutions and rating agencies. You see those logos across the bottom. That means you can trust the data. It's statistically sound.
It is. It is. And believe it or not, Maggie gave me her subscription to Burroughs Institute of Mental Measurements. So thank you for that, Maggie.
It was very generous of her. She's a generous person.
She's very generous.
That's me.
Even if that last statement wasn't true, Maggie is very generous. Okay, let's get into this. So, as always, we introduce the podcast stuff through the OAD Leadership Style Matrix. There's 4 quadrants, 13 typical trait names. Wow, this is interesting because, Mag, you were supposed to be on the spring or something, and something happened, right?
Yes.
What happened?
I told you my memory's terrible. I have no idea, but it is every day, and I'm gonna go ahead and apologize to anyone I've ever canceled on, and will continue to cancel on. There is no telling what happens at a Place at the Table.
Something happened, and I only bring this up because this chart is a little old, and I fixed them, but we made yours a while back. Anywho, We talk about the difference between generalists and specialists.
Cool.
And then we talk about the difference between socially oriented and technically oriented. And then we go around. So I am a socially oriented generalist in the builder quadrant, and I'm what's called a negotiator. Our pal Will is a technically oriented generalist in the architect quadrant, and he is a developer. And Will, what is Maggie?
She is a socially oriented specialist in the facilitator quadrant. She, I imagine, is a coordinator.
Coordinator, exactly right. Exactly right. And we'll get into what all that means right here. Will?
Maggie, how does it feel to have yourself compressed and broken down into a
Into a box?
two-dimensional data table? Yeah.
Well, never seen it done before, so it feels new to me.
Good.
And it feels, I will say it actually feels kind of spot on. So I'm excited to dig into this.
That's the
I'm
science.
definitely Venmoing you that $5.
Yeah.
There you go. $5 coming your way. And some extra Halloween candy.
We can make that hey, I'll take that too. We can make that 5 go up to 10 too.
Ooh,
Yeah, you can.
look at you negotiating. I thought John was a negotiator.
Is that yes, is negotiation on this survey as well?
It can be.
You can add it.
All right. Well, let's break it down. So, as
Okay.
always, we talk about the 4 relative traits: assertiveness, extroversion, patience, detail orientation. We swizzle them up. They come out on this nice graph here, and we'll explain them. We'll also point out that Maggie is a variation of a coordinator. All that means is that she's got some traits that are stacked up, and when they're stacked up, that means they're a mix of stuff. So it's not always as pure as others. There's no right or wrong. There just is. So Maggie's most dominant personality trait anyone's ever met her, seen the Maggie smile, is her extroversion. There it is. You just see it.
Yeah. No one's ever called me an extrovert before. Never.
No, that's never happened. And then we see stacked up here her assertiveness, patience, and extroversion. So all of this means is that she is a mix of assertiveness and detail orientation, and she also is somebody who is a mix of being highly patient and precision. So you can do a little of both. So that is you. And then we're going to get into what that means under stress. So let's start out with, there's like 100 people walking by my office and so out the glass window. So it distracted me.
Squirrel. Right, like that. If John wanders off screen, Maggie, we'll just keep going.
We're just going to keep
I'll be back. I'll be back soon. Don't worry.
So we mentioned that you were a variation. So there are some things about your profile results that are not standard for what usually comes out with the facilitator coordinator results. As such, these generic superpowers and kryptonite that you and I are going to look at here, they get spit out for every facilitator coordinator. All right. But they may not necessarily all strike home with you.
Right.
Regardless, which of those, right, do you feel one on that list is either the most accurate or that others have pointed out about you? Which one of those would you say, yeah, that's on the money?
Sure. Yeah. I would say definitely outgoing and strong social skills for sure. I would say cooperative as well. I would say absolutely not strong on detail. And everyone would tell you that.
I think that's where the variation comes in.
Yeah.
Agreed. For sure.
How about on the other side, John, Maggie, let's talk about kryptonite.
Okay.
These are generic again. Is there at least one of these that really, screams accurate?
Yeah, probably all of them. But let me see. Okay, I think that detail may not employ sufficient analysis of technical information, not technical at all. So I'd say that screams the most, but also can hesitate to delegate.
Oh, we'll get it.
You'll hesitate to delegate.
I just don't want to put extra work on people.
Oh, that's so interesting. So it's not so much the delegation; it's that sort of social obligation that you don't want to give to somebody.
Yeah, and it's not that I think I can do it better because I know I can't do it better. I just don't want to add to people's already full plates. We're already too busy, all of us. So it's more that. But I would definitely say the sufficient analysis of technical information. That's you can ask all of our 25 employees. I'm not a technical person.
Well, when you took the assessment, and John sent you your results.
Yeah.
You all had a exchange back and forth, and you kind of made some notes that he has edited and compressed down onto this slide. But let's take our time here. Talk
Mm.
me and John through these 3 bullets and why you believe these are superpower worthy.
Sure, yeah. Cooperative for sure. I know that statement's a little confusing. Life and work is better together, but I just think I love being around people. I love teams. I love doing it with people. Hence, a place at the table. This pay what you can restaurant is so people centered. It's really just life is so much better in community. Our mission at table is community and good food for all, regardless of means. So it really is like people centered. Everyone's doing it together. Driving, I definitely eat, sleep, and breathe table. Exactly what I said. I think, while I think someone has to drive a project, and so we got started. There's got to be a face, and while I'm not the person that runs the show, we got amazing people, amazing team of people. I will certainly help drive it. So table, we started 10 years ago. We've been open now 6. And it's all I think and do pretty much. I love it. I'm so fortunate to be a part of it. Strong social skills. I'm sure people now realize like that's not a weakness of mine. I have a twin sister, and she's pretty introverted, and so whenever we go somewhere, she's like, oh my gosh, Maggie can talk to a wall. Maggie can talk to anyone in here. And so I love people, and I love being in relationships similar to the cooperativeness.
That's awesome. As a twin, I get to ask, where is your sister? Was she in Raleigh?
My sister, yes, she lives in Cary. She does marketing, SEO work, and so again, we're so different. Like every time she comes to a place at the table, she's like, "Oh my gosh, there's so many people
Say
here."
her name.
Her name's Anna. She's the best. ANNAH. Not A.
ANAAH.
Yeah, she's the best.
Awesome. Hi, Anna.
Quick before we leave this slide, I'd love to know, Maggie. I wanted to ask this question earlier. What did you see something like this elsewhere and wanted to replicate it here, or was this like completely out of the blue genesis from your mind?
Yeah, great question. No, that's definitely not one of my, I wouldn't say my strength is that genesis of creativity. But no, I just saw a need, saw that they were really great for-profit restaurants and places, really great nonprofit places, and people doing really good work, but there was no place where everyone could come together. So started researching, found the Pay What You Can system on Google, and said if other places can do this, then Raleigh can too. And went to visit the closest one in Boone. Now they're dear friends of mine, and just saw that every Pay What You Can restaurant is different, and they fit their communities, and we just kind of share this common language of suggested pricing, or pay what you can, whatever that means to your cafe, and so just said, okay, they can do this and we can too. And fast forward, just we started growing it and opened 4 years later.
Wow.
Amazing.
Love that. Okay, so you brought up Sarah, Dr. Glova, earlier, John. I'm going to reference her again. She's one of our very, very early guests, and she talked about the shadow side of your superpowers when things get stressful, pressure is on. Our superpowers can invert and become kryptonite, our weaknesses. Walk us through these bullets, please, Maggie, as it relates to how you cope with your known kryptonite and how it impacts you professionally.
For sure. Not technical. I truly am not. I mean, I've had to, over the years, I've really had to understand that about myself, that all those small details, I'm going to let those balls drop. I don't enjoy them. I don't want to enjoy them. I read something yesterday on LinkedIn that said, and by the way, I love Sarah, but I didn't say that. But I read something yesterday that said, just because you purchase another database that you think you pay a lot of money for it and you think it's going to help you be more technical, it's not. And so we did that. We got Salesforce, and I was thinking, oh, great. I'm going to use it all the time. I'm going to keep it on my phone. I'm going to go to an event. I'm going to enter someone in. My password expired yesterday. I tried to log in because I haven't logged in so many months. So I'm just not detail oriented for sure, and it's something I try to work on. And then, but now I've realized, oh, I hire really good people that are detail oriented. Can't hesitate to get. I already said that. I did right. I guess I wrote, is it easier to just do it ourselves? But it really isn't even that. It really is that like my team is already so stretched thin of what they've got going on. I mean, they're running a show, running a cafe with 300 people coming in every day. Like it is a lot. So I do hesitate to delegate and add more things to people's plates. Can be dependent on opinions of others. Again, our team is just like really like rock stars and so great. And so I struggle for sure with okay, one member of our team says one thing and then the other says the other thing, and I think they're both really good answers. So I definitely struggle with that as well.
Yeah, thank you for that. John, I know we need to move to the final slide, and there's some things here that I want to ask
Bring it
about
home,
as it
brother.
relates to closing this up. Maggie, you went through this exercise with us. You analyzed yourself. You saw the results from OED, which you said were really accurate. And it may have been a while if you have before that you've taken one of these assessments and kind of done a self-analysis. What did you learn through this experience, the run up to today's show, and then this conversation with me and John that you can apply and utilize as it relates to your professional efforts and interests, maybe all the volunteer stuff that you're doing locally? How can what you gain from this help you get better
Sure.
as a leader?
Yeah, sure. I haven't actually done a lot of leadership or strengths tests like this, strengths and I guess kryptonite. And so it's really helpful for me to just say like, okay, Maggie, you're not detail oriented, so that's fine, right? But you do excel in a lot of these other things. So I think I spend so much time blaming myself for not being good at that and trying to be good at Salesforce and trying to figure it out. But I think this allows me to kind of step back and see and just like forgive myself that it is okay and I excel in other things. And I should be confident in that. And so I think it allows me to walk into, as you said, volunteer positions with those in mind, and even telling people these are the things I'm good at and these are the things I'm not good at that are harder for me or shadows, and just setting that expectation up front versus trying to do it all. So it's really helpful, and I appreciate what you all are doing, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And I think it's really good for people to understand that these qualities about themselves.
John, can I ask her, thank you, Maggie. Can I ask her one tough question?
Yeah.
Please. On that prior slide, you don't have to go back, John. You talked about hesitation to delegate.
Yeah.
And you talked about rock star employees.
Yeah.
And the three people on this show right now are business owners, small business entrepreneurs.
True.
And here's what I think when I read that and you talk through it. You hesitate to delegate because you don't want to overload other people, yet you overload yourself very willingly. When you overload yourself, you're not able to do everything well.
Yeah.
You're going to drop some balls. You're going to fumble. You're going to fail. You're going to fall short. You hire rock star people. Have your rock star people said to you, "Stop overloading me," or are you self-deciding that you're overloading them? And don't you think there's the possibility that if you did delegate more, that maybe that things could even be more successful than they are based on the rock star capacity of the people that you have? How do you get out of that trap? Or maybe you don't consider it a trap.
Well, no, I mean you're making me see that there's a trap in this, and it's true, and I do know, and they would never say that, and they're so generous with their time and just capabilities and everything. So you're right, and I honestly like I think, and I would probably tell someone this like, hey, they probably want to take on more, so let them, right? So I have got to turn that mirror around on myself for sure. So thank you for that. I think that's really helpful.
Yeah. Well, you nailed that. And Maggie, I'll also suggest if you dig into this a little bit, you may find that not delegating is causing downstream residue.
Absolutely.
So that detail that you didn't get to, but you put on yourself, shows up a week later as double what it might have taken somebody else if you just asked them to do it in the first place. Very interesting stuff.
No, and I'll say in closing, Maggie, I've been to your establishment several times on my own. Meeting somebody there. I've been in a couple of events where there was several people, and we sat upstairs. I've never once had an experience there that wasn't stellar. So
Agreed.
your staff, as
They're
you
so great.
said, delivers,
They do.
and it's a wonderful experience. But yeah, if you try to do it all, or you decide that you I don't want to give that to them. That's too much. You don't even give them a chance to see what it is that they
That's
might have
right.
been able to do better. I mean, it's almost like you're I'm not going to use the word that I want to use here because it's a negative word, but you're maybe not giving them as much of an opportunity to shine as could be there. Let them decide, if you trust them that much, whether or not they want to, jump in and take something on.
So true. So true. Thank you for that. It's so true.
Maggie, if you enjoyed this and thought this was a good experience and gained some benefit here, who's next? Is there somebody that you can think of in your network, locally, nationally, anywhere that you believe would benefit from this, would enjoy the
Cool.
participation, and would join the show?
Yeah, sure. Probably a lot of people. But I think I'm gonna nominate my friend and fabulous board chair of a place at the table, Terrance Ruth.
Say it again.
Terrance Ruth.
Terrance Ruth.
Why Terrance?
He's just wonderful, and he's got so many strengths. And I don't even think he has kryptonites. That's my thought.
Ooh,
But
our first guest with no weaknesses.
no, he's just amazing. He's awesome, and
He's the current board chair.
Friend. He's our board chair. Yep.
Awesome.
And just involved heavily in different things around the community.
And we had Danny on the pod. Danny was a very early guest with us. So that's
Danny
awesome.
would have been someone I recommended, but I saw he was already someone.
Nice. Well, we'll follow up with you after the show
Cool.
for a contact. And I can't believe it, Mag. We've been talking about this for so long to get you on, and here we are at the end. Thank you so much for coming on and being on with us. And that little burst at the end that Will sprung on you, that was good. I hope that was helpful and in service of your business. So appreciate it. And you always with the smile. We really appreciate it. I'm John Lane.
I am Will Barfield.
Maggie.
I'm Maggie Kane, and we are a work in
progress. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Maggie. It's an awesome show.
Thanks for having me.
Work in Progress is a podcast presentation of Slipshod Productions. Available on LinkedIn and YouTube. Executive produced and starring John Lane and Will Barfield. Talent booking, production, and editing by John Lane. Thanks for watching. See you next week.